What's up, young bull?
What up, old head?
Yo, show that glass, man.
You already know it. We got the Terps rocking.
I got the Hopkins glass. We're both drinking Makers.
You already know it. Maker, Maryland,
Hopkins
Hopkins.
glass.
Would have been a
That's
great
right.
weekend.
That's right. I forgot. We were going to have, what, the 120 something?
It's a bloodbath every time.
That was supposed to be this past Saturday.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I don't even know. I think it would have been at Maryland this year, too. I think it was at
Yeah, it
Hopkins.
been packed.
Oh, every time. It's the best game.
What was your record when you played Hopkins?
I just know my senior year I beat them.
No, so you guys lost more, but you won the big one. But
no, I don't. I think it's almost an even split. I mean, if we're talking playoffs, we won it when it mattered in playoffs. 1 year in the Final Four.
I think we were 3-1, but we got our asses handed to us my sophomore year when Joe Walters took over. But my junior and senior year, we jumped off because we were on those losing streaks and we'd play Maryland. And then we used that to turn our season because the game was so meaningful.
Yeah, it's a meaningful game. I know I lost my freshman year at Hopkins. Maybe I think we were just going back and forth almost every game. It's always
just
tight.
Battles.
Yeah, it's the best game ever.
How do you get fired up before those games? Do you have any pregame rituals?
No, I'm kind of just chill. I kind of just sit back, relax. People are stringing their sticks, hitting the wall, shooting 20,000 times. I kind of go out, take a couple shots, go back in. I'm ready. That's what practice is for all week. You just got to be cool.
So you've never been overly intense? You were pretty intense after your first goal against the Woods in the championship.
No,
it kind of reminded me of the Jordan thing. Let's go.
That's right. I mean, I'm hype all the time, but you don't want to get too high before games because then the energy might rub off the wrong way or whatnot. So I kind of keep it calm and cool. Then once you step over that line, it's war.
Yeah. You talk a lot of shit?
Sometimes when I need to talk shit.
You got after McMahon a bit.
Yeah, McMahon and I go a little way back. I don't even think I talked that much shit. I think he was just – there's so many defensemen out there. I don't even remember what I was saying to McMahon, to tell you the truth. Probably that he was like –
You were saying he wasn't strong.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
not strong.
He's not strong. Well, he's not that strong. But he's very good. I'll give him that. He was really hard to go against this year. He's so big, but – he's not the strongest defenseman. Like Eppel and Dunn are way stronger.
Yeah. What's your style like? You think you because you went after the strong guy. I mean, you go after Tucker, go after Eppel. Dunn's on your squad.
Thank God.
What's the most difficult defender you go up against?
Probably like Eppel, and I mean Eppel, Tucker's so hard to go against just because me and Tucker just know each other so well too. I thought Newman was really hard, too, to go against. He's just super athletic, but some people have more team defense than other team defense because I remember we played the Chaos or that playoff game, I think it was, and they were more like shutting me off behind, not letting me get the ball, and we were cool with that. It's like, 5-on-5 from up top with two shorties. We'll take that all day. It's hard to slide on 5-on-5, too, without having someone wide open. So Chaney was having a field day down the alley.
Yeah. You get frustrated with that, though?
No.
When you're shut? You don't?
No. Why get frustrated? It just makes our lives easier. Go 5-on-5 is a lot easier to score than 6-on-6. I'll sit back there, get the ball when it goes out of bounds, and do my thing. But if my boys can do it, then I don't got to do anything.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's different when you're shut off as a midfielder. I used to get shut off almost every game. You don't have the luxury of picking the ball up off the ground or off the end line, I should say. I remember that being the case because we used to play shut off against Mundorf and Ned Crotty, like all the top players. There's a scenario that you want to throw out.
Just fake shoot it over the top or something. Well, it's also different. If you're going to shut me off with a short stick, then I'm probably not going to sit back there. I'm probably going to try and break open to get the ball or become a picker that draws switches. Or when you're shutting off, there's not a lot of switches, so it's just going to be a straight go ahead for the other guy.
Yeah. What are you guys what are you guys doing during this quarantine time? You, Baptiste, Blaze. How's life,
It's
man?
just life is great over here. We're not I feel like we're beating the shit out of quarantine and this coronavirus. Not, we don't have it, so I don't want to like jinx myself. I'm not going some wood, but we're just like working out every day. We have my trainer from my high school. We go to his gym at his house. We're the only people that are using it, so we feel pretty safe there. And he's also a chiropractor, so I usually get adjusted all the time. But we're just working out like harder than ever, and it's such a great time to work out too, just because our indoor season all is shut down. So it actually, for the first time, feels like all three of our bodies feel like back to like college bodies again, where you're healthy, you're not playing 11 months out of the year, and you're just jumping from season to season with 2 weeks notice. So right now, my body is probably one of the best it's ever been in probably in the last 2 years, and um, we're all getting so much stronger. Like Trevor and Blaze and Tucker are all so strong, and we're just pushing each other, and it's just a competition. We're all so competitive over there. That's just how all the lacrosse guys are. We're just so competitive, and we're just grinding out. We're just eating healthy, cooking good food, and playing some video games, throwing the ball around when we can. I mean, we got kicked
Yeah.
off. We got kicked off a couple fields, so it's pretty hard to
Yeah.
find a field now.
I know that. I got kicked off a bunch early and I just haven't gone back. I go play against a wall in my garage. Are you living your best life right now? All the way around?
Always living my best life, baby.
You're always but you had the best year of your career last year.
Doesn't mean I can't do it better this year, right?
Is that what you're I mean, I'm not saying right. Is that what you're trying to do?
I mean, you're always trying to improve from the year before, so I'm just trying to, live my best life. Life's too short to, be sad and dwell all the time. Go live. That's my motto.
What do you think the difference was between um 2018 and 2019? So you graduated from Maryland, you won the Tewaaraton, best life in college there, best year you had, and then rookie year in the pros, you're all right.
Yeah.
Probably figuring out what pro lacrosse was, and then boom, PLL launches, and you have the best summer of anyone in the league. Was there anything that clicked, or was it more like, hey, let me mature into professional lacrosse?
I think it was a mixture of both. Like, let me mature into a professional player, and I think Jake Bernhardt really helped me out with that. He would call me and be like, "It's time to become a professional. You're not in college anymore. You're not running around, and you can't just do everything. People are coming after spots." So he really got me laser focused for that season. But I just think between the MLL and the PLL. I played at Charlotte, and I have so much respect for the organization there because they've done so much for me. But it was so hard to really get up for a game, and when there's like 300 people in the stands and it's not on national TV, it's not hard to play. But when you're playing in front of a huge crowd and it's the intensity level goes straight up, it's like I was playing in college in front of thousands of fans, and then I go to play professional lacrosse, and there's not that many people there. So it was definitely a change, and just coming in halfway through the season, your rookie year, because that league used to start in like April. So I missed like half the year. So it was just like, it was just a weird situation. And then when the PLL launched, I was full go. I was like, all right, this is awesome. This is what's going to, make or break it. And I think a lot of the reasons I had such a great year was I played indoor for the first time, and that really helped my game out tremendously. And I know you played, and
Yeah.
it probably helped your game out too so much. And I'm just so thankful I got this opportunity in Philly to play.
Top of the charts in points. You led. You set a record in points for a player at Maryland, but you do a lot of things really well. Probably you do a lot of things great. But I haven't found anyone that describes your game like in a very specific way. Like Rambo's a unbelievable dodger or a six shooter, or he's got great balance. It's always a bit of everything. How do
But
you think about yourself? Like if I was like, what's the best thing that you do? Is there anything that you do really well, or are you just like, hey, I approach the game across the board and I think like the sum of all parts is the best?
I mean, I just think over time you just become so well at so many things. But right now, I think I'm just so in this trying to master kind of like a John Grant Jr. thing where you're like mastering the body pressure. And I think this year I was getting in so many defensemen's hands. It's so hard for them to throw a check or to even push off because once they throw a check or push, they're lunging or they're out of position. So for me, I had so many assists this year just because once I get in defenseman hands, when you're in tight, any attackman in the PLL, if you have one step in tight of 5 yards, you can let it go. So for me, was just keeping my head up the whole time, getting a defenseman's hand and just get ready for the slide to come because it's such a hard thing for a defenseman. You talk to any defenseman, they're like, shit, this guy's in my hands. I can't really do anything besides read him. And once you see someone starting to slide and when you have outside shooters like Channy, then it's going to just be everything opens up so much more too. So I think just for me, it was just dodging with your body. And I've been trying to teach that with my clinics and one-on-one lessons and everything. And I just think box helped me get that physicality towards my game so much better. So for me, I think just being like a physical dodger, because you don't see that so much. There's only a couple of us in the PL that really gets into defenseman every single time.
Yeah. How do you practice? Is it like, do you practice that or is it more mental reps? Because you almost have to have someone that you're working on. It's like a post up,
Right.
because mental reps just ain't going to do it. It requires like, you just you've got to commit to it, right? You can't go half in. You got to go all the way in. Otherwise you're going to get crushed.
You're going to get crushed. You're going to get thrown
Right.
like a rag doll if you're going half-ass in with your body straight up. I was always taught at Maryland, Coach someone would have pads, or Coach Repper always had pads, and they would like hit us, or someone would hit us, and defensemen, like scout team guys, and you just learn how to read pressure and build off pressure, and it's just reps. It's just something that you just get used to and used to and used to, and for me, it's the low man wins. It's not about like your shoulders being low. It's about getting your ass down low and just being lower than the guy. It's in any sport, usually the low man wins. Football, wrestling, anything like that. Even basketball, you're lower than that guy. They're just going to ride over top of you.
What about vision? So you got a bunch of assists this year. You've always been on a feed well, but have you picked up other things this year, this past season?
Yeah, I think with the box game and everything, they just gave me such a tighter window to feed people inside, or everything has to literally be on your ear inside in the box game. So for me, it was just, feeding the guy where his stick is. If it sticks low, feed it low. If it's a stick high, feed it right there. And other thing that I've been really trying to work on is just like spot feeding. So throw the ball where he's going to be when he's cutting. And it's such a hard thing to do when, guys are cutting so fast. So my whole thing was, if I'm hung behind, throw the ball where the guy's going to end up so he can just run right into it. So those little things I've been picking up, and I'm still learning a lot about the feeding game. I wasn't the biggest feeder at Maryland my first 2 years. And as I progressed throughout my season, I worked on feeding just because so many early slides were coming. And same thing with the PLL. I'm just, head up, just ready to go, and just you see stick, throw it there.
How do you make a decision? I remember going through this process too, and basketball helped me a bunch too. When do you make a decision to pass in front of you to the immediate open person, or hesitate, hold pressure, and skip through? Like, is that instinctual, or are you always trying to make that play?
I think it's just in your instincts. I'm a type of dodger.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's pretty hard to explain it. I don't really know how to explain it, just because when I'm dodging, and the more I think when I'm dodging, I think the worse I do, because I'm thinking about step by step. And we've been playing this game. I've been playing the game for 20 years. I'm sure you've been playing it for a little bit longer because you're an old head now.
Yeah.
So I think
I still got tricks, and still got tricks in the bag you haven't even seen yet, dog.
I've seen them around the world. So I think it's just instinct, and you just play. Don't think, let your body do it. You do so many reps over your lifetime, but sometimes I like to hold for a quick second to see if I can get a 2-pointer in for Channy.
Yeah.
Channy's the best shooter.
Yeah, he's got that range.
You got that range still? You had a couple this year.
Hell yeah, I got the range, man. I used to have the record.
I know. Now Channy has the record. Are you bummed out about that?
No, I'm not bummed out about it.
You've been having a lot of inside goals too. You're looking like a attackman sometimes down low.
that I'm going to shift to attack at some point before it's all said and done. I got some of the best hands. I just don't get to show it because coming out of the midfield, you don't get as many reps. So hold on. You have to play loose. You have to play instinctual, and you make these decisions. And you have to be okay with when you go for it. This is the thing about turnovers and ball possession. It's like in basketball, your point guard's always going to have the most turnovers because they have the ball the most and they're making the best feeds.
Right.
And your top offensive players are going to have the most turnovers because they're going for it. So like I had the most turnovers for my team. You had the most turnovers for your team. Schreiber had the most turnovers for his team because you go for it.
Right.
But then you get caught in the shit with your coach. So when you're going for it, there was that one game where you and Stags got into it. And so how do you handle that situation?
San Francisco against the Chrome, I got benched.
You got benched?
A little bit. Just a little.
You got benched.
Yeah.
What happens? Because he got into you on a shot that he thought was a bad shot, and then you chirped him back, and he wasn't having it.
It was just I would blame that on me. I thought it was a good shot, but he didn't think it was a good shot. And it was just a mixture of like that whole game. We were like down like 11-3 before halftime to the Chrome, and they were just anything was going in for them and nothing was going on for us. So I think we were just getting I think me and Stags been together for that was our third year together. So we have such a good like father-son relationship. So we get after it at each other, but we're just so competitive. So sometimes he says stuff, sometimes I say stuff. But after the game, we were cool. We were chilling. We talked after the game. I actually went down to the beach with my family, and I called him on that Monday. I was like, you know what? I'll call him on Monday. We called it, and he was like, you can't say some things to me. I can't say things to you. And that was it. And he was like, let's not make this happen again. We're having such a great year together. So let's keep it going. And after that, I actually bought a relationship so much tighter. And I think that can happen. I think that's happened with like so many people with the relationship with their coaches. Like you see Tom Brady and Belichick, you see him arguing and they're always fighting and stuff. And I think it's such a healthy relationship though, because I don't want to be walked all over what I see. And he wants to see stuff that he doesn't want to be walked all over. So it's just, we're at that professional thing, and sometimes shit happens and you disagree. So
yeah, it's a unique thing. You see it even on the Jordan doc that's running right now is like what people don't realize. And this is with coaches in football that have difficulty moving from college coaching to pro, and even vice versa, pro coaches moving to college. And the same thing in lacrosse and basketball is you're dealing with different human beings.
Yeah.
You're dealing at the pro level with almost your peers. There are some coaches, even in the NFL, that are younger than some of the players that they're coaching. And so the relationship is going to naturally take a different course, and you're going to have impasses. In college, it's a lot more hierarchical, where it's like, all right, I'm your boss and you're going to obey my command. Some coaches do a really good job of threading that needle, but for the most part, pro is very different, man. You've got guys that are in their 30s. I mean, our coach this season is Ben Rubior, and he's my age.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's happened to me at Maryland where me and Coach Rapper and me and Coach Tillman, we got in arguments. I think it's just what happens when you're such a competitor and you believe in something and you believe in yourself and your team. So it helped us out. Stags has full trust on me. He gives me the green light whenever I want. So we got a good thing going over at the Whip Snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what motivates you? I'm looking at our notes here and I'm looking at, all right, do I take Rambo down to being ranked number 2? And Rambo used to shoot the ball 102 miles an hour. I don't know. He's not shooting the ball that fast anymore.
Because I don't get the chance. I don't get the chance to get a 2-point line. They're lucky.
So I'm like, okay, how do I get here? I want to know what you think about. Like what pisses you off? Because I'll tell you what pisses me off, but let me hear you.
I think during college, what pissed me off was not winning a championship. And then now in the pros is I don't want anyone to take that championship away from me. So whatever we did last year with the Whip Snakes, you better work twice as hard, because guess what? Everyone's coming from you. We might be the most hated team because we got the first ring. So everyone's coming for you. You better work twice as hard, and you better be fucking ready to go every single game. So for me, it's like we got something to prove again. Just because you won it last year doesn't mean shit this year. So let's go out and prove everyone wrong again.
Yeah. I'm sure Stags does a great job on his leadership programs, but Coach Pop has always said publicly, like, we're never, and he does a great job of this, but he's like, we're never going to have the same bite that we had before we ever won a championship, because that mentality is like full of piss and vinegar. You're out to prove. It was like, the Jordan doc when they couldn't beat the Pistons, and all of a sudden they had so much to prove. And then Pop will tell his team, all right, we've won a championship. There's no way that we can all of a sudden go back and morph into that mentality of having never won before. So we have to recreate our new motivator. And a lot of coaches don't have that perspective. They'll be like, new year, we got to win a championship again, and have that same mentality. So you're talking about playing defense now, and how, and I think that there's some power to that. But I mean, it's one thing to say it, but how are you going to back it now when you do have a target on your back?
Right. I mean, we did this last year, and we kind of just took everything in like 5-minute periods. You know what? You win this 5-minute periods. Don't look forward. Don't look back at what happened last time. So that's what we kind of talked about over, some Zooms and FaceTime, since we didn't have training camp, and it's just throwing ideas out there with our team. We haven't been all together yet, so we don't know what our theme this year is. And I think that, for Jordan, it's like, this is the last answer, last time go around. So we don't really have a theme yet, but all we know is everyone's trying to go after us. So we're not going to look in the playoffs. We're not even in playoffs. Who knows if we'll make playoffs, but we got to win every single game. And that's our mentality is, you know what, who's up next? What are we going to do? What's the next play? It's not really, we got to win a championship. It's more like we got to win this next game. And I think that's how it is with a lot of teams. I'm sure that's how it is with the Atlas. It's not like, let's go win this championship. It's like, no, we got to beat blah, blah, blah this week before we can even look forward. So we're always just trying to get better every day and just trying to win the day. That's how the Whip Snake's been doing it last year. And this year we've been keeping in contact with everyone. It's like, did you win today or no? Like, what did you do today? If you didn't do shit, go do something, right? Everyone's coming after you. So go win today, so tomorrow you don't lose.
Do you think it was advantageous for you guys to have so many Maryland guys on the team because you had that baked in chemistry? You talk about Jake. You never played with Jake Bernhardt, or did you?
Right. No, I never have.
So there is only like 1 degree of separation because he treats you like his own,
right?
But he never played with you. Do you think it was advantageous that you guys had a bunch of your peers with you?
I just say, my bad. We have so many pro Terps. That's good.
Do you guys? You guys been zooming a lot? Yeah, man. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
But no, I mean, I played with like Jake's little brother and everything, so we always had a relationship. And
Jared's playing football,
huh? I'm not sure. I talked to Coach Tillman the other day. I know he's going through a process, like, where can he play? Can he play at Maryland and play lacrosse? Can he play at a D2 and play? I don't really know his whole thing, but you know what? Why not play football? Go do something. You never know what can happen. Yeah, that's right. Get that Makers in you. But
do you think that's a Pat Spencer effect? Because it's not just Jared. It's a few people that are looking to jump.
I know that Dox Aiken, he's a Philly guy. He's playing football at Villanova. I think it's like, you know what? I was such a good athlete, and, lacrosse can do so much, but maybe I have a breakout year like Chris Hogan has and see what happens. Like, I think that would be super cool. Give it a chance. I don't even know Pat Spencer's status on anything. I know the Wings have him. And
do they?
Yeah, we picked him up last year.
Well, the Archers have him too, and I know that he's looking at the NBA Summer League, but if they don't get out, he might make a run. Then all of a sudden you have Pinnell in the league now. Pinnell was on the podcast, and he was like, yo, everyone forgot about me. Rambo's the attackman of the year, but y'all forget that I was the MVP the year before. What you think about that?
I think. I mean, you got to prove it this year. Let's see what you got. I know you were the MVP last year or 2 years ago in the MLL, but it's a whole different game in the PLL. It's a lot more people are a lot more hungrier, and it's a different type of. The field is so much different, so it's different styles. I mean, I have respect for Pinnell. He's great, but I mean, you got to come through the Whip Snakes defense, and we got the best defense in the league for sure. Don't you got to come by us. Got Earhart, Matt Dunn, Bryce, Tim. Our D middies are locked down, so you got to get through our defense. It ain't a one-on-one game in the PLL. It's a whole thing now.
Yeah. Your defense, you protected the coaches protected the whole defense because they knew they play as a unit.
Yeah.
What do you think about losing some of the guys that you did to the expansion draft?
I mean, it stinks. I knew it was going to happen. I played with Connor Kelly for 5 years now, so 4 or 5 years. So it sucks losing Connor Kelly, and Drew Snyder was such a good leader, and it sucks losing him. He was my roommate too, so he's always fun to hang out with.
I didn't know you guys were roommates. So you saw him going his pregame routine was going through Raya.
I don't know his pregame.
That's what he told me. He said he would swipe on Raya the night before games.
That ain't that bad, right? Go on Raya swipe, see if you get a match for after the game. But he's the best. He's a fashion dude, and he taught me a lot. And he taught me a lot about being a professional. He's been in the league for. Is he the same year as you?
Nah, he's a little bit younger, but he's a consummate professional.
But when he gets on the field, he's a killer. So it sucked losing him, and but we picked up good guys, and we'll see what happens with this whole NCAA draft. I know that's all messed up and whatnot with everything's going on. So it's just a bizarre time, but whatever. You lose a guy, next man up. Joe Lacasio is working hard. I see him.
Yeah,
and we got no one gives John Hall some respect either. John Hall is the most underrated player in the league.
He's a silent assassin, though.
I mean, he almost could have won MVP in the championship game. He was dropping. I think he had three goals that game.
Yeah, he had important goals. So championship game. Let's talk about that. When you were approaching that game, you were announced league MVP the night before. You say you play loose, but first question is, did you have more pressure knowing that you were going in the championship game as the league MVP, and did you feel like you needed to perform?
I think I had more pressure playing in Philly, in my city, with so many fans and family and friends there than not that they give me pressure. Like, if you lose, we're not, going to love you, but it's like, you got a shitload of people coming out here. You got to prove it. I mean, the league MVP was for the regular season. That shit's done with. Now it's playoff time. So I wasn't really thinking about that. Like, it was great that I won the league MVP. I got the only goal right now that I have written down. Like, league MVP, blah, blah, blah is great, but I'm a team guy. I don't really – the individual stuff is great, but you win individual stuff by being on a great team and being in a good position. So
if you had your stats and you guys didn't make the playoffs, you wouldn't have been league MVP.
I probably agree with that, because
it's typically the way it goes, right? So I think to your point, like you gotta be on the team, and the two work hand in hand. Honestly, I've said this before. It's actually the amalgam of the me's that make the team, and like kind of the theory that you need 6 honorable mention All-Americans. I always question, like, why not 6 first team All-Americans? You know what I mean? And that was the way I thought about it, because I think a lot of people feel guilt around writing down a goal of wanting to be a league MVP, because that can feel selfish, but it's not.
Yeah. It's not.
Did you write that down? You said you wrote it down. Did you write that shit down?
I don't write it down in like a notebook, but it's in my head.
But that's what you wanted.
I wanted to have a breakout year, but from day one in training camp was to win the championship, and that was our only goal. And Joe Lacasio, John Hall, Dylan Mulch, Jay Carlson, they all were just finishing the ball for me. If they didn't finish the ball, maybe I wouldn't have that many assists or whatnot. So you got to give it to them. So that championship game was it's pretty wild.
So give me the reel on on the fourth quarter when Joe Walters hit that goal to go up, and
Oh,
then they won the face-off, but you guys got it back, called a timeout. Drew Snyder talked about the play, but what were you thinking, like walking to the huddle and then walking out of the huddle?
I know the whole second half when we were in the locker room, Stacks was like, "Be assertive, get the ball. Like you need to start going more." Because I think at the time I only had like one goal and I think like 3 assists. So he's like, "You need to start going to the net more. Like go ahead, keep going, keep going." So like walking in that huddle, I'm like, "Shit, all right, let's go." And Stag's like, "You're getting the ball," and I'm like, "Perfect, that's what I want." And the play was great design, a little flip play, trying to get the little matchup switch because at the time the Redwoods were staying on their picks or they were switching. So if they were staying on their picks, we were going to take a pick off and I was going to run down the middle of the field. But they stayed and we went around it. And we had that backside mumbo. You can't leave Channy wide open on a
Yeah.
two-pointer to win the game. And we had John Hall's coming in, and he's a great finisher inside, but seemed like no one was sliding. Everyone was too player conscious, and somehow I went down the middle of the field and I kept my stick in tight. I knew he was trail checking me, so I kind of just put it bottom low and to see what happened. And oh man, what a feeling that could be. I mean, it was
Yeah.
right in front of the Whip Snakes fans too. Oh man, I couldn't even write that up, and I was like, "Holy shit, let's go!" I'm
Yeah.
fired up. No
I
one's
was calling
stopping
the
us
game. I
up.
was on the sideline like, damn, that is crazy. So did you feel when coach calls your number and you're walking out there, is there any type of jolting around like, all right, this is on me?
It's kind of like, all right, he's giving you the ball. He has the most trust in you right now, and this is going to like make or break it this game. So it's just like full on psycho mode and just going straight. Let's try and win this for the team and let's win it for the boys. But I also had like Channy in the back of my head, like if Channy pops open, he could hit a 2-pointer to win this shit too. So
It could
it
be a
was
wrap, yeah.
definitely so many emotions going on, but I was ready for it and I was like, this could make or break it. This could make your career and everything. But at the time when it was going out, it's like, all right, let's go. Everyone's watching. This is what you wanted your whole life. This is what you dream about.
NBC, yep.
Yeah. So in Philly, let's go.
In Philly, damn.
Yeah.
So all right, so overtime. So you get the ball, Ty Warner clears it. You attack when they don't seem like they're ready. Was that instinctual, or were you like, all right, if I get this ball, I'm gonna go?
I got the ball and I kind of searched for 1 second. I saw Drew Snyder. I think it was Drew was running behind to set a pick. So I was like, oh, he's setting the pick for my right hand. And I kind of just fake used it. And by the time my swum move landed, I had like a step and a half on him, which is really hard defense too, because his stick was all over my hands and there was no slide. And when I turned that corner at 5 yards, I was like, holy shit, I see all far side right now. And I saw Trauner was talking about it like, yeah, I knew he was going there, but I didn't want to jump off. And I saw that, so much of that outside net. And I was like, you see net,
Take
you
it.
shoot net. That's what you do.
Hand
And
speed versus hand speed at that stage.
yeah, and I shot it. And honestly, I didn't even know it went in until I heard like everyone screaming. And I was like, holy shit, let's go.
Yeah,
Obviously, I got to run back to my boy, Kyle Burnler. He's
yeah.
such a good guy. And it's his
He's such a good dude.
first championship. He kept us in the whole year. He's top goalie in the league. Him and I mean all the goalies were so fucking good this year. What the hell? But he
Yeah,
was
what's up with that?
he was so
Why do
like
you think that was the case? I have my theory, but
I mean my theory is shot clock shorter, field shorter. So many shots equals more saves. That's just
yeah,
on me, but maybe it was just a breakout year for the goalies, and Kyle deserved it. Stags deserved it. It was their first championships. Kyle played the lights out too that first half when 2 goals, and it's all about lacrosse is all about games or runs, and when can you stop a run? That's my theory. Is like when are you going to stop the run? Are you going to stop it at 2 and that's it, or they're going to go on like a 9-goal run like they did? Then you got to stop. It's all about stopping the runs and momentum right now, especially in the
yeah.
PLL. You see it all the
Yo, why do you
time.
think? Why do you think earlier in the show you said Epple was a tough cover? When they assigned you Landis, what were you thinking? Were you like, all right, this is better than Epple? Or do you think
Um,
Landis is a good cover? Because you chirped
honestly,
him. You owned it.
I mean, I think before the game, Apple covered me, and I had a lot of points against the Redwoods the last 2 games I played them. So I don't know if they were trying to not mix it up, but he's so powerful, Apple, and so he's a strong body that he's pretty hard to go against. But I think they're trying to maybe like, all right, we'll put a faster guy in Rambo. But Landis was chirping a lot during before the game. Landis Island, no one wants to come here, all this shit. So that's an insult. If you're gonna cover me, that's an insult to me. So you gotta prove someone wrong. But
Yeah, and you brought your sunscreen. No way.
yeah, yep.
It wasn't much of an island. Yeah, but what about So tell me the truth on your first goal when you put it short side, because I've said this before. When you score, not every goal goes exactly where you're shooting, but at the same time, you miss good place shots by a half an inch, so it goes both ways. You hit a post and exactly where you're going. So if a ball flies out short side and it goes in, you take it. I think it all nets out. Troutner was on the pod and he was like, yo, that first shot came short side, stick side for me up high, so that held me on my pipe when Rambo turned the corner. Was that first shot? Tell me about it. You got lucky, didn't you? I can see it.
My first righty goal of the season, baby.
Let's go.
But, I just turned and kind of shot it, and I don't know if you got to check it. Maybe the checks maybe made the shot go a different direction, but, I never really thought about that. Sometimes good shots don't go exactly where you want, and sometimes bad shots don't go. So I like that theory. I'm gonna do that now. But
it goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways, and now that's going to change how he's going to read my shots. Now maybe that game or maybe forever. Now he doesn't know where it goes, because I know goalies have that memory. Like, you know what, he blasted me far pipe now, so maybe next time we play the Redwoods, I'll blast my near pipe and be like, you thought I was going off pipe there. So,
you don't have that 102 mile an hour shot though in you.
You think you shoot faster than me now?
Than you?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Who are you talking to?
You shoot 110?
I don't know if I shoot 110. I could shoot 110 if you wanted me to, but in a game, I try to practice and do everything with my game stick. When I was shooting the ball 110 plus, I would rig a stick to go do that, like a lot of people do.
And you're probably aiming to the stand to the right of you, and it was going to dead center.
It's all about it's all about how far back you can reach when you turn and shoot through.
Yeah,
because it's just physics, man. It's like if further you reach back in one motion and you let go, the faster the ball goes. It's like a trebuchet, like a catapult. Boom.
I know all the guys in the fastest shot competition. They all had like second stick.
They all pull on their sticks. Yeah.
You should make that a rule. You're the owner of the league. Let's go. You gotta use your game stick for the fastest shot.
Nah, I'm down with 120 mile an hour shots. Let's see it.
So my man, Newman can.
But really you're dodging the question, man. Can you shoot 102 miles an hour? How were you able to shoot that in high school?
Yeah. Well, I shot that in Colorado. Maybe the air was a little bit thinner. So the ball moves faster. But I've shot 100, 103 in the
Does Stags know that? He should put you on the power play, top center.
He puts me top left sometimes. He knows I can bring it. I can bring it from the outside.
You ain't scored a 2-pointer, though, did you?
I didn't take one. They're lucky. They don't know what's coming. I might come out of the midfield this year. I'll get back on D. I love when you're back on D. I tell you that.
I'm down, man. You've seen these checks on Instagram.
Yeah,
Rick Beardsley's about to give me a poll.
I love when you're on defense. When Rabel's on defense, I'm like, let's go, baby.
I know I'm going to shift down and start covering you. I know how to cover you.
There we go.
My hands. That's when I'll throw a rap check.
6-on-5. Here we go, baby. Rabel's on the field defense. Early slide coming.
Yeah. I squat. I'll get low, and once you get in my hands, I'll bait you. You'll lean in. I'll go over the head, and it's over. I know how to defend you. I was trying to tell Tucker how to do it. I
What's
was like, Tuck, every time he leans, give him space, come over the top, and it's a wrap for Rambo.
Clancy from the Chaos? He's
Yeah,
hard
he's
to
good.
go against because
He throws good checks.
he's grabbing and he's rap checking. He's got that down.
College, I played against this guy, Mike Ward, who would do that same thing, throw checks nonstop. And the crazy thing is, the reason why it's good defense is you give up position, but if those guys don't bail on the play, they end up missing the first check, you get by them, and then they come back with a trail check as a slide comes.
Right. They're just on your back waiting for your stick.
And they're throwing like an underhand, one-hand check as soon as you pull back to make a pass, too, because you drew a slide.
And I'm not used to, if a short pull is covering me, I'm used to him just like being like, all right, let me break down on his hips or something. But I'm not used to some short pick just swinging it, stick around.
You know, Towers listening to this too. Towers is going to D you up with McClancy next year.
Well, we got the best D mid. We got Ty Warner and Jake Bernhardt.
Jake's a beast, huh? He was the leader of your team.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
Him and Earhart.
Him and his whole family is such a great family, and you know, we played a lot for Jake too, a couple games this year. So it was just a great family, great guy, and I'm happy Jesse's in the league this year too. Yeah. I would like him on my team.
Yeah, Jesse's a beast.
I think everyone would.
Yeah, he's a hoss. He and you know, I got a chance to win a gold medal with Jesse. And I played on 2 world teams with him in 2014 where we got silver, and 2018 when we won gold. Are you is that what's next for you? Team USA?
Yeah. I would love to do Team USA. I know I tried out in 2018 right out of college, and I kind of went to like 1 or 2 tryouts, and I actually got an invitation to the ESPYs award. So it was like, do the tryout when you know you're just a young buck in college and there's so many professionals that are established, or do you do a once-in-a-lifetime ESPY red carpet? So I went with my dad. I brought my dad to the ESPYs and was like, let's do it. And such a great time. The after parties are fun. My dad actually went to high school for a year with Eddie George. My dad used to drive him. He lived down the street from Eddie George. So Eddie George was walking down the carpet. My dad's like, yo, what up, Eddie? And Eddie looked at my dad and was like, yo, how do I know you? He goes, I used to drive you to school every day when you were a freshman. I was a senior. He goes, Rambo? And he goes, yeah, this is my son. He's up for an award. And they were like dapping up, hugging. It was like the coolest thing ever.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was.
Eddie George is a good dude.
Really good dude.
I spent some time with him in New York, and just solid guy. Knows a lot about, obviously, sports, cares a lot about performance.
Really
gets
smart
the
dude.
Perspective of the athlete. Yeah, really smart dude.
Yeah. It was funny. The ESPYs, we're at the after party, and everyone's coming up, and they're coming up to my dad, and they're like, yo, so who are you representing here? And my dad's just like, I ain't representing anyone. I'm just here with my son. It was hilarious. So,
what after party were you at? You were just bouncing around or what?
We were just after the thing. There's like all the athletes went up to like the Staples Center after party. I don't know really where it was. I was so young at the time, but it was great.
Was it worth it, man? Do you feel like you would have made the team or nah?
I don't think I would have made it at that point in my career. I was so young, and I just felt like, one tryout's not going to make or break the team. And I know like the USA has so many, like, you play every 4 years, and there's so many expeditions. Yeah. There's so many games going on before that. So just one tryout, didn't think it, and there's not going to be too many opportunities where you're up for an ESPY. So I think I had to take it 100%.
Yeah. So you eyeing 2022? That's your year?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely excited. I've been invited to a couple things this year, but it was just hard with the schedule wise with playing box, and Coach Janowski and Seth Tierney were really understanding about like, all right, he's playing box, we get that. So it's great that everyone's kind of has that understanding, even though the USA team that I really want to make is an outdoor team, but they understand the box game and they really respect the box game, which it's a whole different game and a whole different game of lacrosse. And people don't
Yeah.
really realize that. And I mean, I think if you want to be considered, the best lacrosse player ever, you got to play both, like the Gate brothers and Casey Powell. You played both, Tom Schreiber, Lyle Thompson. You got to be able to play both. You can't just be
Hell
like,
yeah.
you can't, if you're a really good outdoor player, you can be like, yeah, I'm one of the best outdoor players ever, but you got to make your mark in both leagues to really consider yourself the best ever. For me, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, I remember those early days. It was tough. I learned the game from the back door, is what they call it, which is playing defense. And I picked
Yeah.
up, transition and learned offense and won a championship out west. And then learned under one of the best offensive players the game's ever had in the indoor game, in Colin Doyle.
Oh
And it
yeah.
gave me, I picked up a bunch of skill that I've taken to the outdoor game. And I think that process, that experience is similar for guys like Tom and yourself, and even Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor's doing such a good job with face-offs, and even this year, it's not even the end of the season. I think he has like 4, 5, 6 goals this year, and last year he had 0. And he's like, my stick skills are getting better, so he might be a threat. And Joe Nardella is a whip snake guy, and he's playing for the Black Wolves every game and taking face-offs, and Withers and
Yeah,
Jeremy Thompson, and you're just like, all right, there's so many.
Jeremy's a beast.
Oh, such a beat. There's so many cross, between outdoor and indoor that, I'm not saying you have to be the best indoor player ever to be considered, a great, but you got to play in both leagues to be able to, put your name up there. And I'm not even close to be up there. I'm fucking years and decades away from even putting my name up there, but it's
Decades, maybe a decade. I mean, you gotta earn your stripes, kid. But
exactly.
I mean, you got your first MVP though. I got my first MVP my second year in the pro league.
Let's go. Cheers to that.
So you're going to get your next one next year, if I don't have anything to say about it.
You had the most points this year on your team?
Nah.
Just turnovers.
I was playing with a broken back. Wait till I'm back this year.
What, like Tyson? I broke my back. Spinal.
Yeah. You know the potential.
Yeah, I know you got some wheels still left on you, but
how old were you when I was playing in college in 2000, 2005, 2008?
2000.
You were just a young head.
Oh man, I graduated high school.
You probably didn't even watch college.
No, I watched you in the college. You had that. I watched you play against maybe Syracuse. I think you had like 5 or 6 goals. I remember. Did you guys win or lose that game, national championship to Syracuse?
We lost.
Yeah, that was a good game. But that was like a huge, probably part of your career. Like, it was national stage and you were balling out there. But was that when Mikey Powell, was that his senior year?
Nah, Mikey was 4 years old. I never got to play against Mikey. He graduated my senior year in high school, but I used to watch him. It was crazy the way that crowds went from probably 40,000 when he was a senior up to 60,000 when I was a senior, then died back down. Why do you think that is?
I think people don't appreciate the live sports because it's on TV. But I think after people are more and more I feel like live sports are kind of coming a thing again. But I think it's such easy access and tickets are so high now. Like football tickets this year are, $100+ and, families that are like middle class are not going to bring a family afford to a Eagles football game, and they're spending like, after food and tailgating and inside the game, they're not going to spend like $600 on some tickets and food and everything. So they're like, it's probably easier, but I don't really know why. Maybe because it's so broadcast on TV and it's just an easier way to do it. But I think after this coronavirus, I think everyone's going to be itching to go to games. And I don't know what the whole standard with the PLL or the NLL or even the NFL with fans in the stadium, but I guarantee when fans can go back to a stadium that the places are going to be rocking.
Yeah. Why didn't you go to Penn State? Why did you go to Maryland?
Why did
You're
I
a
go
Philly
to
guy? That's kind of like fake Philly, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm jumping
Um,
back on you for a second.
I went to Maryland just because the fit. Penn State wasn't really established yet. Tambroni was like his first year there, and I visited so many schools, and some schools I won't name names were like you have like 30 days to commit, or some
Damn.
of their
Yeah, that
scholars.
was a crazy time. You were
Yeah,
playing during a different time than me.
yeah.
We used to get time to make a decision.
So like, I was like my sophomore year. They're like, you have that, and I was like, I gotta go look at like 5 other schools. Yeah, I don't even have time to do that. And they're like, you got 30 days, or some of your scholarship's going to be gone. And Coach Tillman looked at me after a visit and was like, I know this is the place for you. I'm blue collar. Your family's blue collar. Go check out any school you want and as many schools you want. Your scholarship will be the same no matter what it is. Your scholarship will be the same. And guess what? You'll have a place here and a home here. But I want you to go visit other schools because this is the most important decision of your life. And I respect that. And after everything, and just seeing the culture of Maryland, how everyone sticks together and everyone sees it in the pros now, with like the turf
Yeah.
pick and everything. We all stick together, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's probably it's probably the best decision I made in my life. So I'm happy I did it, but you know, I think every kid should know, like, if you're listening to this podcast, take your time. It's not about the school on the front of your chest all the time. Like, it might be cool going to Maryland, Hopkins, UNC or something, but you got to fit in there or you're going to be miserable for 4 years. It's all about, it's not just about lacrosse. It's about school. It's about social life too. You're living there for 4 years. You don't want to live somewhere where you're not going to like, and just, it's not like, oh, I'm going to live blah, blah,
It's about
blah.
your connection with the people too. I remember
Yeah,
I committed to Hopkins because of Petro, and
right.
Seth Tierney at the time and Bill Dwan, and and then Seth ended up taking a job at Hofstra, and I got Bobby, and like, the school is important. It wets your beak, but it doesn't make your decision. The decision you make is based on the coaches and the players that are there. It's
I mean,
hard though, because they went through a phase where players weren't even taking their visits; they were just making decisions on pedigree.
you got kids in 8th grade commit, and it's like, you don't even have your driver's license. You don't even know if to take a right or left
That
turn at
is a
this line,
mess.
right? And then I'm like in 10th grade, and we're at a different time period now than kids where we could go out with the team and actually see what a social life would be and have someone watch over you and just make sure you're all right or whatever, whatnot. But I don't think anyone can go out with the team now if they're in high school or, I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but I'm just like, it's just different. I stayed with Kevin Forster. He was a Terp. He's a Philly guy, and he's like best friends with Nico. He ended up transferring after his, I think his redshirt junior year, and went to St. Joe's down the street. But we hung out with everyone. Travis Reed, Ryan Young, and
Yeah.
Ryan Young and Travis Reed have a huge part of why I committed there during Blue Chip, because Blue Chip was all Terps running everything there.
Was it? Man, I probably went to the second or third blue chip ever. The first blue chip, I remember Andy Gallagher, who was a senior when I was a sophomore at DeMatha. He went to the first one, but blue chip used to be 99 invites,
Yeah.
something like that. And then all the coaches would be there, and there would be a center stage, and there'd be no games on different stages. It would just be one stage you'd play. Did you do
One
blue
game,
chip?
one game at UMBC Field. Everyone watching you. There's a game at 7, 8, and 9, and that's it.
Boom. And that was
And
it.
then,
And you went against the best.
and then I think after 2 years after I graduated high school, they start doing like instead of 100 kids, it was like 200 kids. So they had like 2 or 3 fields, and just like, what's going
It's
on
a
now?
challenge, man. The ultimate challenge is like trying to scale and monetize the business versus keeping something really fucking
Real,
authentic. And yeah,
real to the people. Then there's so many states, and some states were getting left out, and because they thought their kids were the best in their state, but it might not compare to other states. So it's just I understand where they were going from, where they were having tryouts in Florida and everywhere. But it's probably I know Blue Chip's done now, so it's definitely probably hard. Like, why not blow it up and make as much money and
so
put so many kids on
so
the big stage?
you were the number 2 recruit in the land.
Yeah,
Um,
My senior
What if
year,
you
they
were the number?
switched it.
What if you were the number 200? Would you have felt more pressure around those coaches that say, "Hey, you got 30 days"?
I definitely would. I think anyone would. If you're like, all right, well, I felt like I had some kind of leverage because I was such a high recruit and I had so many different offers and almost like every college coming after me. But if I was a 200th recruit, I don't know if maybe Maryland wouldn't be interested or someone else wouldn't be interested. So I think it would definitely give me some more pressure. But that doesn't mean you have to go to the best school for lacrosse, even though your ultimate goal is probably to win a national championship, but it's like you got to go there to have some fun. And, the college life is the best life for those 4 years. You can't go back to those 4 years. And post grad's been amazing for me. I love post grad.
But you still say college is the best? You still say college is the best?
Oh man, yeah, 100%.
Damn.
College is the best life because you can't go back and you can't hang out with your teammates every single day, and you can't practice with your teammates every single day. And when you win a championship with your college, it's a little bit different from winning the pros. I don't know if
Yeah.
you felt that way, but I felt that way because maybe I lost my first two, but man, I put so much heart and love into it. And it wasn't because, it was Maryland versus the Whip Snakes. It's just like I was with these guys for 4 years
Yeah.
straight. And I've seen everyone, go at it, blood. I see people cry. I've seen everything. Like you fights at practice. You know how it was at college. It was a bloodbath during the
Yeah.
fall. Oh my
I
God.
mean, I still say this about any pro league is that once you get to the next level, you never have that college experience because you're all the same age and living together and going through the same shit. In pros, I mean, take the NFL, you have guys who are playing quarterback who are 40 years old with wife and kids,
Yeah.
and they got their own responsibilities from their 23-year-old center who's snapping them the ball. And so it's just different. It doesn't even matter necessarily about number of practices. We're all going through this. All sports are going through this virtual connection that we have to make so we can stay sharp. I'd agree with that. I think it's different for sure.
I do definitely respect the older guys on both the teams I play for now that, after a win or a loss, if the teamer's hanging out and they come out and hang out, I really appreciate that because I think that's such team chemistry and that people don't know. It's hitting team chemistry about hanging out and going out and maybe you have a beer or two, or maybe it's just you're playing down in the lobby. We were playing cards a lot this year and I was losing every game,
What
but
kind of cards are y'all playing?
we were playing this game.
You're playing Texas Hold'em? Because you challenged me over Instagram and Hold'em, and I was like, you don't want this.
You take that picture by yourself, or you self timer that, or you self timer that, or
smoke.
Did you have?
This is going to be some smoke. If you want Hold'em, man, I grew up on Hold'em.
Did you have Brett take that picture of you flicking the cards up in the air?
Nah, man, I'm fully self-quarantined.
All right,
y'all forget that I'm self-made, man. I used to vlog with a GoPro and a Canon camera in my crib.
I
figured this shit out on my own.
But me, Trevor, and Blaze been playing, three-way Texas Hold'em, which is totally different than playing with like 7 people. But whenever you want that smoke, we can download something, and
you're winning them.
We're bringing the money too.
Nah, playing without money is a different deal than all of a sudden you play with money and then people start sweating and I can see that leaking on your forehead and then I make a read and I put you in a tough spot.
We only play with money here. We even have a
you're talking to someone who started a league with tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. You think I care about gambling on $20 Texas Hold'em, no stakes? Come on.
All right. It's about pride.
And about to take your shit.
I'll make you bend that knee too. Come on, bend that knee. Whenever you want. The next PLL game, we get me, Trevor, Blaze. We'll get yourself. We'll get a bunch of people. Whoever wants to be in this Texas Hold'em thing.
Yo, what you think about this? I keep this on my desk. Celebrating 125 years. Look at all those Hopkins trophies.
What do I think about that? I say, what do you want me to say? Yeah, there's a lot of trophies, but
I want you to genuflect, motherfucker.
But when was the last?
I want you to bend the knee.
But when was your last one?
When I was there.
But this is my last one right here, right next to me. If I wish that people could see it, because I'm showing you my championship hat, national championship 2017, which we should have probably been in the Final Four last year, but they were going to call that crossbar goal a goal. Come on, man.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't watch college lacrosse anymore.
Oh, you don't?
Nah.
Damn. You don't love the game of college lacrosse anymore? You don't watch your Hopkins boys?
I watch Hopkins exclusively.
That's
So,
it. That's
last couple years, rule out Final Four, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel sorry for you. You guys haven't been big pimping lately like the Terps, man.
I'm telling you, there's a school out there that's looking for a head coach. Dave Petramala will take your team to the top.
You think? I think
Hell yeah.
I think it does have to do a lot with if you bring a big coach time like that into like a little program, kids are gonna go. They're gonna.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of outside factors that I'm not privy to, and I think the latest happenings at Johns Hopkins indicates that look this challenge that the program is facing right now, that's probably existed over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You got to give just like Stag's giving you space. Administration has to give Petro space. Administration has to give any coach space to do what they do. And the minute that space is infringed with, then you're never going to tap potential. And we know what your potential is. We know what Petro's potential is. We know what my potential is. We know what other talent's potential is. And it's a tricky thing to balance. But you got to give space to talent.
I just think I don't think they did. I don't think they handle it the best way. Like this dude put Johns Hopkins on the map, and you guys are just gonna throw him out. Yeah, if you guys were gonna fire him or you guys were gonna part separate ways, I didn't read into it that well. I hang out with Tucker every other day because we work out together, so I want to hear a snippet of it. But like, you couldn't have done it like towards the end of this Corona thing, not dead center in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this guy has been the coach for 20 years. He was the best player in the country while he was there. He's arguably the best defender of all time.
Right.
And it's going to be a short press release on his departure.
Yeah. He's not. If I was him, I wouldn't be saying anything. I'll be like, all right, I'm out. I had a great time. I love my players. I love my staff.
The latest hiring is going to unfortunately be caught in the crossfires because, as an alum, you support where the program is going to go and you hope that it goes in the right direction. But at this stage, it's like, you take care of your own. And Coach Petro is one of our own. And if you feel like, family was treated poorly, then you handle that until it's handled appropriately. And right now, the feeling across the alums is that it wasn't handled right. So it's going to be a long road until it is.
Well, he better come in and be ready for that Maryland game because he better know how big that game is before he gets there or shit, man. That's going to be bad.
You don't know about that game until you've been in it. And that means as a player or as a coach. And if you haven't been in it, you don't know.
The hype is there, and everyone can say, oh, I've been there and watched the game.
There's just shit in the air, man. There's shit in the air. Fans don't experience it, even that are there in person.
Not even my first time on the freshman year on the field. I forget who was one of the defensemen. Oh, man. Or my freshman year, 2013. He was a really good defenseman. Oh, man. I forget his name. But I remember when we were saying good game, he was like, I'm going to crush you. And I was like, all right.
He said he was going to kill you. He was like, I'm going to kill you, young
And he was like 15 at the time, like Joe Walters. We both were 15 our freshman year. Then we went to 1, baby. Channy was one my freshman year.
That's right. Is that what you wanted? You try to buy it off of him?
Nah, I'll rock with 9. I'll let the old head have it for, it's all good.
I remember I took 19 my freshman year as Matt Rakowski was number 9. And then we won my freshman year, and he came up to me in the bar after the championship, and he was like, "I'm giving you 9." And I was like, "My dude."
Yeah, I mean, I got my jersey on the PLL thing. I'll keep number 9 for a little bit. I like it. I'm probably gonna keep it
Yeah.
till forever now. Like whatever.
Might as well rock with it. I remember my rookie year in the league, this dude Tom Zumo, who played at RIT or something like that, was number 9 for the Boston Cannons. And I tried to buy it off of him. I tried to take him out to dinner, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna step aside. I'll take 99. And I had a rookie of the year season, and we traded him the next year, and they're like, "You want 9?" And I was like, "Nah."
What do you think about wearing 99 with Gretzky wearing 99?
I mean, look, Gretzky's one of the best of all time, but it's a different sport. I mean, if I was playing hockey, I'd probably fret a little bit more, like if I was playing hoops and wearing 23.
Right.
But
You
I
think
think, yeah. I mean, I remember when I played indoor, a lot of the Canadians were on me about wearing 99, and I was like,
yeah.
"Look, guys, this ain't hockey, man."
Yeah, you think
I
LeBron
think
gets
broadly,
shit?
man, our sport needs to step up. Our sport needs to step the up. It's what we're doing with the PLL. I think college needs to step up. I think our media needs to step up, and we need to professionalize this thing. We need to grow up. We need to take shit more seriously. We need to, let our personalities grow. We need to cover the game differently, and that's just what it requires if we're going to be a big dog. Otherwise, like, we're going to continue to be on the sideline.
I agree with you. Everyone needs to just be true to themselves on their own social media, and that's I think, especially where I'm living right now with Trevor and Blaze. I think we all have big personalities, and we don't shy away from showing our personalities on camera, on our own
Don't
Instagram.
shy away, baby.
We're real to ourselves, and I think more people have to be real to ourselves, and I think more people are scared to be real themselves, and they'll post, and it's like, man, I've talked to you 100 times. You don't really talk like that. Like, why are you being so so proper? Like, just be yourself. People want to follow you for you, not because of like you're a lacrosse player. They want to follow you because they're interested in you as a person and a player, not just because you're blah blah blah. Like, be true to yourself. Show these people, show these fans who you really are. That's what I try and do. I'm not going to hide anything.
My guy. Love that. We'll end it there.
I love it.
Love it.
Thank,
Thanks for
thank you.
hopping on. MVP.